what are they up to now? Let me show you. This is our laundry room, and we decided we wanted to put some faux brick on this wall, which evolved into new shelves, a new ceiling, new light fixture. So it always comes out to a little bit bigger project than what you initially started at. Well, let me show you what we're playing around with some of the faux brick. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos to see different techniques and styles and ways of doing, and usually what I do then is take the ones I like best from each one and try to compile them into my project. So this is exactly what I did with the faux brick. Here's the first practice panel that I worked on, and with this one we did the tape method, taping out the mortar grooves to lay out the brick design, and then put the drywall mud over top, as thick as we could get away with, then pull the tape off, and of course then decorate and do what they call the German schmear over top. And it's all right in some applications, but it just wasn't the look we were looking for. And so what I did next was basically the same idea with the tape and the drywall mud over top, and then coloring the brick, doing a lot lighter on the German schmear. We like more color coming through. And then I made a faux mortar out of drywall mud and sand and a little bit of paint in there to darken it up, to give it some color. And we really like the texture on this and the texture on the brick, but yet it still wasn't quite what we were looking for. It was wanting something with a little more 3D pop in it to give the brick a little more of a third dimension. So then the next practice panel, saw another YouTube video where someone used 1/4-inch MDF and cut it up into brick sizes, secured them to the wall, and then used cement all to go over everything to give the brick some texture, but also to fill up the mortar grooves, and then smooth it out, strike it out, and then color the bricks. And we like this method because it gives a more of a 3D look to it. Looks more realistic, but yet it just didn't quite have the look we wanted for the mortar, and it lost some of the texture on the brick too that we really liked with the drywall mud. So with this one, we decided to take the best we liked out of this one and compile it with the last one, and this is what we came up with. Was this panel. This is the one we're going to go with and try to work with on this wall. What this is, again, is the MDF. You can kind of see it on the edge there. The MDF panel cut up into the brick sizes, secured to the drywall with a little bit of construction adhesive and some brad staples to hold it in place, and then the drywall mud over top of the MDF. Instead of cement all, we want drywall mud, and like that because it gives it a little bit more texture. It kind of makes it look like handmade bricks, and we really like that look. And then come back in and paint, do a very light smear, and then do the faux mortar as well with the drywall mud, sand, little color, and instead of making it super smooth, kind of left it a little rough, and we just like the texture, we like the look of it. So that's what we're going to work with, and I will do that on this wall. First of all, however, I've got a little bit of prep to do. I need to tape these valves off. I'm going to paint this all black so it kind of blends into the background instead of standing out so much in the brick wall. And then I'm going to frame up. I'll have a back piece for a shelf that's going to take up part of this hole right here, and you'll see that as we continue. But then I need to frame around this lower part, give something for the brick to butt up into. For the outlet, I'm just going to, I drill an outline around where the cover plate ends, and I'm going to come up into that all the way around for that, as well as this one. Then I will bring it out with some spacers and some arc flash protector around it. And as far as the dryer vent, I'm just going to brick up to that around each side, all the way around. And you can see my lines up here. Found where the studs are. I wrote that down so I don't forget. So when I go to secure the back support for the shelving, I know where they're at. I can support it properly. And we're going to do a lower shelf about here, upper shelf about here. And then we can have more storage. It'll look nice. And that's pretty much it. So you see where we're at, what the project's going to be, and this is what we're up to now. Alright, so here we are back at it again. As you can see, I've got this painted black like I was going to, and the vent as well. I've checked the laser level going across the baseboard, and it is level. And so I'm going to start with these MDF bricks that I made. Now these are 2 1/4 by 8 inches. And get these MDF sheets in a 2 foot by 4 foot size from Home Depot. Cut them up in these sizes. I can get 60 of these bricks out of one sheet of the 2 by 4 1/4 inch MDF. And then I hit the edges with a little bit of sandpaper on a belt sander just to give them a little bit of a taper there. And then they're ready to install. And so I'm going to go ahead and install them coming along the back of the baseboard. And I'm going to use 1/2 inch spacers. And I've got a couple strips of MDF cut at exactly 1/2 inch that I'll use for spacers on top as well as on the side to keep everything even coming across. Every once in a while, about 3 or 4 courses, I will set up the laser to make sure that the bricks are still level coming across, so I don't get at a weird angle and then all of a sudden as I get up to the top it's really off and looks very bad. So we'll keep it adjusted and level as we go up as needed. What I'm going to do to install these is use a little bit of construction adhesive, 2 or 3 of those on the back side, put it up, and then I've got 3/4 inch staples, my brad nailer. At 3/4 inch, we'll go through the 1/4 inch MDF and into the 1/2 inch drywall without protruding out the back, and that will hold it in place while the construction adhesive adheres, and ultimately the adhesive will hold it into place. The nails just hold it into place while it's drying, and that way I can keep going course after course after course after course. So I've got full size. And I've got half bricks as well, so I can, next course I'll start with the 1/2 brick and go on up. As I get over here to the vent, I will probably work around the vent absolutely last. I can do everything else up to that point and finish with the cuts that I'll need to do around the vent. At this point, this evening, I'm only going to go up as high as the receptacles. The framing that I'm going around here has been made and stained, and I have to let it dry for 24 hours before I can put a couple coats of urethane on it, and then I will install it here and I can keep going the rest of the way. And so with that, I'll go ahead and put up a few, and then I'll bring it back when we're closer to done. When I open these containers, I like to use a little tape and seal it around. It seems to keep it a little bit better than anything else I've tried. So let's get started. Just so you get the idea of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. go. There we go. I'll do a few of these at a time so that I can keep going for a little bit before I need to stop. It doesn't take a terrible lot to hold this in place, so there we go. Like I say, I'm going to use the baseboard as my level beginning. And as it's held into place, there we go. Now we'll hold it into place until it adheres. I put that up and just get close, take it with my 1/2 inch spacer, and there we are. Get the idea of what I'm doing. The next course, when I go up again, I will start with the 1/2 brick, and I will set this up here, and that'll be my 1/2 inch spacer for there, and I'll just move it down as I progress. And again, check the level as I get up here a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, I've come up this far. It's as far as I'm going to go until I get the framing done around here, and then we'll have to do a lot of cutting into the brick to get around these until I get up to here, and then it's going to be pretty easy the rest of the way up. As you can see, I'm checking level, and we're pretty much dead on there. It's maybe a 1/8 of an inch out over here, so I'm going to keep a watch on that and make adjustments, especially once I get up to here. So, and I'll watch it pretty close as we're going up. But this is where we're at today, and I'll bring you back when I can get this put up, and we'll be starting again. Thanks for watching. Alright, welcome back to What Are They Up To Now. As you can see, I've done the framing around the washer outlets here, hookups, and been able to get up to this point with applying the MDF bricks, and let's start over on that. Hi, and welcome back to What Are They Up To Now. As you can see, I've done the framing around the washer hookups. I've applied the MDF bricks up to this point. I've had to make a couple corrections, little minor corrections with level coming in through the receptacles and around this. But now I've got it back to level again, and of course I'll check it again when I get up to about here. It's just easier to make minor corrections up along the way before they get too out of whack. But we're keeping her pretty level, and I think it's looking pretty good. I'm very happy with how it's coming out so far. Brought in a little work table here so I can work up a little higher and don't have to bend over to reach the bricks that I glue up every time I need one. And so I'll just go ahead and run another course here, and then I'll bring you back when I got her all the way up. All right. And let's see, I need to start with a half brick on this one. And I'll do about, this is the exact number I need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 full ones. Get them all glued up first so that it just doesn't take long at all to blow through these. Get a course up. Working late and after work, so I don't want to have to work till midnight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if I can help it. Trying to get this done while Melanie's off seeing her daughter in Montana, and kind of trying to see exactly what I have to do every night to make that happen. And if I get this finished all the way up to the top tonight, then I will be able to stay on track. cut solid 1/2 inch off of that for the gap. And that's pretty much it. Now we got another line. I'll just keep going up from here and check level after a couple more courses again. So I'll bring you back when I get her all the way up to the top and we start the next part.